Hi there, I'm Danni and I'm an Arts and Health Facilitator for BCAT. Today I'm going to be showing you how to make your own paper cranes. So here's a paper crane and it's made using a process called origami, which basically means paper folding. So origami comes from Japan, and in Japanese culture cranes are symbolic of hope and peace. And they have a tradition whereby if you fold 1,000 paper cranes in the space of a year, you're granted a very special wish. So I'll be showing you how to make one, and then if you enjoy it, you can take it a little bit further. So let's begin. So to get started, the materials are quite simple. You'll need some paper, and for this you could use any kind of paper. You can use newspaper, wrapping paper, sugar paper, anything really. And then to join your cranes together, you can choose some nice bright coloured thread. So you could use cottons, or you could use wools, or you could use ribbons. And then you'll also need a needle. So I've chosen a nice big fat needle because then that'll be easier to use and easier to thread as well. And you'll also need some scissors. And this is for cutting the paper to the right size. So to start with, we'll need one square piece of paper. So I'll pick with a colour. I'm going to go for blue, I think. That's it. So I'll pick the blue paper, put those to the side. So to get our paper so it's nice and square, what we'll do, we'll get our bottom corner here and we'll fold that there you go. So we get a nice point on the opposite bottom corner, and then we'll press that down like so. Then what we do is we take our top two corners and we fold them down so it meets that line along there across the horizon. Make sure it meets that. That's it. And then the trick with origami is to make sure all your lines are nice and flat and well creased. So now we've got our lines, we'll unfold it. And we need to cut across the line there. Nice and carefully. This is where it comes in handy if you've got a guillotine. There you go. So now you should have your own square. So what we do, we take this top corner and fold that over to meet the bottom corner. Nice and flat. And then we'll turn it around so that point is facing towards you. And then we fold the right hand corner to meet the left hand corner. And then we flatten it out on the crease. That's it. And now we'll unfold. So we'll take that corner back across there and then flatten that out. So now what we need to do is you get your finger and put it in that flap there, pinch that corner with your fingers, and you take that up using that middle line as a hinge. Put your finger in and then you press that down like so. So you should have a diamond shape, and then we'll turn that over and repeat what we just did. So put your finger in the middle of the flap and then you pivot it on its hinge like so. So I'm going to drop that and then you flatten that out like so. So you should have something that looks like that. Okay. So now what we're going to do, pick up the right hand side in between the top sheet and the bottom sheet. Make sure you don't pick up both. And then we'll fold that in to meet the line which is going down the vertical. And then press it down so it's nice and flat. That's the trick. Just keep pressing it down so the lines are crisp. And then we'll repeat what we just did on the left hand side. So grab that in between the two pieces and fold that so it follows the vertical line that you folded earlier. Nice and crisp and flat. Okay. Oops, seem to have dented that a little bit. It's okay, we'll flatten that. Okay, so now what we're going to do is turn it over and repeat what we just did. So, take your right hand side and fold that over to meet the middle. Crisp and flat again. And then guess what? Take your left hand side, fold it over to meet the middle. There you go, perfect. So, have you got a kite as well? Okay. So now what we're going to do is, see that point there? We're going to use that and then fold that horizontally to give us a nice crisp line, like so. And now, unfold that. Unfold your right hand side and your left hand side. And then put your finger underneath that top piece of paper at the bottom point, just that one piece, and using that horizontal line that we've just made as a pivot, take the top point up, and then we'll flatten out either side using the lines that we made earlier. Okay, so guess what? We're going to turn it over and repeat what we just did. Okay, so unfold that flap, unfold that flap, put your finger in between the top piece of paper at the point, and using the horizontal line as a pivot, take that point up to the top. Oops. Up to the top there, and then flatten it out on the edges. Oops, I made a bit of a mistake there. Oh, there you go, nice and crisp. Keep it nice and crisp. One of the tricks to origami is to just practice, practice, practice. And then it won't be long before you're a master of the crane and you can make them with your eyes closed. Okay. So now what we're going to do is take our right hand side and put your finger underneath the top page, fold that in to meet the vertical line down the centre. And then repeat that on the left hand side. So taking the top page, fold that in to meet the vertical line which goes down the centre. Nice and crisp. Okay, so now guess what? We're going to repeat it again on the other side. So take your right hand side, fold that in to meet the centre, and then flatten it out so it's nice and crisp. And then your left hand side, fold that one in to meet the centre, and then flatten that one out so it's nice and crisp. Okay, does yours look like that too? So now we'll take our right hand side and imagine that it's a page in a book. Turn that over and then flatten it out. Okay. And now taking that point at the bottom, fold that up so it travels along that horizontal line up to the top. And then flatten it out, okay? Then fold that back like the page of a book and flatten it out, okay? So now what we're going to do, fold this page back, take this point here up to the top, flatten it out, and then fold this page from right to left, nice and flat again. So you should have something that looks just like that. And as you can see, there's no head and there's no tail and there's no wings. So that's what we've got to do now. So we'll take this piece here and then you pull that out, holding it there, and then pull it out to however far you want and flatten that down like so. And then repeat the same thing on the back. Pull that out, flatten it down. Okay? So now you have to decide which is your head and which is your tail. I think this is going to be my head. So what I'm going to do is give it a bit of a fold there, like so. And our wings, fold that one down, like so. Turn it over. And then fold that one down, like so. And there you have your paper crane. So what you can do if you enjoyed that is you can make some more paper cranes like these guys here, and we can start to attach them together. So to do that, I'm going to get my needle and I'm going to get some wool, or I'll get a bit of this thread here, this nice bright red thread. And what we're now going to do is make sure you get a nice long length. So in Japan they usually make lengths of cranes, about 24 cranes for one piece of string. So if you're feeling ambitious and you want to do a large amount, make sure your thread's going to be long enough. But as I've only got a few at the moment, I'll keep it quite short. Okay, so now it's time to thread the needle. This is always the tricky bit. So if you need a bit of a helping hand, see if you can find someone to help you put your thread on the needle. So let's give this a go. Like so. So that's why I've chosen a nice big chunky needle. Makes it a lot easier. And also, if you drop it by accident, you can see where it's landed. Okay. So now we've got that. What I'm going to do is I'm going to tie a knot in the bottom to make sure that when we thread it through, it's not going to slip off and we're not going to lose our cranes. There you go. Probably put about 3 knots in that just to make sure that it's not going to slip out the bottom of it, okay? So we've got a nice big knot there, okay? And we'll pick up our crane. And now if you turn it over, can you see that right in the bottom you've got a little hole? So this is where our needle's going to go. So we'll poke the needle through that hole, like so. And then in the top you've also got another hole where your needle should come through, like so. And there we've got our one paper crane. And now, unfortunately, I haven't got any beads, but this is a good chance if you've got some beads to throw a few on to decorate it a little bit. Get a few beads on there and that'll be lovely. And so I'm going to carry on threading my paper cranes. So again, through the bottom of the paper crane, you'll see the hole here. Thread the needle and then push the needle right the way up to the top and out like so. There's our second. Okay, and then our last paper crane just here. Oh, got a bit of thread stuck in that. Okay, so in the bottom and up through the top. There you go, and there we have it. We've got our paper cranes on a string. So I don't know about you, but I had a lot of fun there, so I reckon I'm going to carry on. I'm going to go and get myself a nice cup of tea, find a comfy chair, and then see how many paper cranes I can make. Thanks for coming, and I'll see you soon. Bye bye.